How well do you recall the article the St. Louis Post-Dispatch's Dan Caesar wrote before you even called the Cardinals game?
I remember it really well. I remember one line of it really well. I remember my reaction to it really well. One line of it, and you probably read it, but it had in bold print, what's most offensive about Joe Buck's hiring was blah, blah, blah. And it went on to say that there's so many guys struggling in the minor leagues trying to get their shot, and now here's this 21-year-old kid who's going to fill in for his dad because it's nepotism, and it's nepotism on steroids. And that crushed me. I remember reading it, and I was still living at home. I mean, I didn't have my own place at that point, and I was in the room that I grew up in, and I bawled. I cried because I thought, my God, this is how it's starting. How is this? Because I was nervous and not confident and didn't know if I could handle it. Now all of a sudden I'm offensive. My hiring's offensive, and Dan and I, the writer of the article, laughed about it since because we've become, good friends. And but that was a shocker. It's probably the best thing that could have happened to me, though, because that's real life, and that's the real world. And the real world is it's natural to say, well, I know how he got his leg up, and it was accurate. And I had to put my head down and plow right through that, which was good.
And I know you say the criticism doesn't bother you today, but I mean, something tells me it gets to you a little more than you might lead on.
Criticism does bother me. I don't look for it. You've always got the one friend that if somebody writes an article that you didn't see, they're sure to forward it to you so that you do see it. But yeah, it bothers me because it's just maybe a weakness. But when I read stuff, or that leads into the Twitter thing, or that leads into Facebook or whatever, that you stick your chin out there, and you better be willing to have a really thick skin and put up with a lot of stuff, because the sports world, it can get pretty vicious. And I don't look for it. When I see it, I gulp and read it and move on about my life, but it gets in there.
The criticism is no longer just about the broadcasting career. I mean, people get on you about literally everything. I Googled your name a few days ago in preparation for the interview. I mean, what's bothered you the most about all of that?
Well, it bothers you to a certain extent, and then when you look at the bulk of it, you realize that they don't know me at all. I mean, that's kind of the fallacy of this whole thing is, and it's not just me. I'm a mosquito on this thing. But whether you're Jennifer Aniston or these people that get it all day, Britney Spears when she melted down, people like that, you feel like you know these people, and so everybody feels like a right to comment on stuff that's going on in their life, and I've just never bought into that, because if you Google my name, I mean, that would put together the image of somebody that I'm not in any way, shape, or form. So, once you realize that, I don't know that you really get that wrapped up in it. So it's fine to let it live out here, but I'm not really going and chasing all that stuff down. It is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny in some respects, and it's kind of sad in other respects, but that's the way of life.